All right, thank you very much for this second interview for Global MMA. And Maria, it's such a pleasure. Our first interview last February was quite a success in France because a lot of people want to know more stuff about Ronda, of course, and as you know, judo is very popular. So to have you also for an interview because you are I can tell again that you are the first woman to win the World Judo Championship back in 1984. So it was a real pleasure. So thank you very much again.
Well, you're very welcome. Let me turn this light off. It's in my eyes, so I feel like I'm being arrested for something. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So my first question for this interview, if today you had you would have the age of Ronda, do you think you would have made the choice to start an MMA career? Would you be interested in doing MMA right now?
I might, but I don't. I'm not at Ronda's age. No, I mean I might have done what I did in judo because judo now, and I know this makes me sound like I'm really old, but I am really old, so I don't care. Judo now is a lot. It's a lot. I don't know how you translate this into French. It's a lot wimpier than it was when I was in judo. So there's a lot of rules. When I fought, it was more like a fight.
Yeah.
Now there's so many things you can't do. You can't touch their legs. You can only have this type of grip. And so I don't know if I would like judo now as much as I did then. Because it seems now that there's a great deal more intrusion of the referees into the fight. And I think there was too much when I was competing, but I think it's far more now. So maybe if I was competing now, I would do MMA instead of judo, but I certainly wouldn't do it to the age that Ronda is. I mean, I got to the point, I had a goal. I wanted to win the world championships. I won the world championships, and then I went on and did other things. I had children. I got a PhD. I started a company. So if I was Ronda's age, I would be doing something else. I would do just what I did, go to graduate school and start a company.
All right. And by the way, did you watch the last World Championship in Kazakhstan?
You know, it's terrible. I did not watch all of it. I watched a few matches, mostly Americans, people I knew.
Okay.
I watched a few matches, but not all of it. Not like, when Ronda was competing or when I was younger, I would just be like glued to the screen and watch every single match. And now I watched a few of people I was interested in.
Okay, all right. So Ronda has had this fight against Beth Korea. It was for the UFC 190, and I wanted to have your feeling, about this fight because we felt this not this anger, but we felt that something was different for this fight. So what is your feeling about this fight? What happened and everything? The fact that
it was definitely personal. Personal. Okay. She took it personally, and I think any time that you're in a fight, you're selling a fight. It's entertainment. Mm-hmm. And yes, you're having a fight and it's an athletic event, but you need people to watch it. And people say things to hype up the fight, but there are lines you don't cross. You don't talk about people's children like, Kat Zingano, her husband passed away. He killed himself, and before the fight, Ronda's comment was, "We will fight when you are ready." And that's all she had to say about that. There's just things that are off limits. People's family, say God forbid, I don't know anybody that's happened to, but say you had a child that died of, sudden infant death syndrome or something. You don't bring that up. That's not something you bring up to sell a fight. And so I think this woman just kind of crossed the line, and Ronda took it personally, and she wanted to beat her down. And like she said, it takes a lot for me to hate somebody more than Misha Tate, and this woman managed it.
Yeah, I see. But by the way, it was an incredible fight because we saw that Ronda, she has all the potential to knock somebody, to knock out somebody, and in a fashion way like this. It was amazing. So her next fight will be against Holly Holm, who is also still undefeated in MMA. So Ronda is now 12-0. Holly is 8-0. So the fight will occur at UFC 193. It will be on November the 15th in Melbourne, Australia, at the Etihad Stadium. Isn't it amazing that this fight would be in such a big stadium like this?
It is pretty crazy, especially when you think about judo, if you've been involved in judo a lot. And I don't care what lies people tell. I've been to the Olympics several times for judo. I went in '84 when they were in LA. I went to the 2 Olympics Ronda was in. And the truth is, often half the stadium is empty. I've been to a lot of international tournaments around the world. And the truth is, there just aren't that many people that come. And so the contrast between MMA and judo is huge.
Yeah, really. It's amazing. As far as I'm concerned, my last UFC, I think, yeah, it was last summer. It was for the Conor McGregor fight against Chad Mendes in Las Vegas, and the arena was completely packed. And I'm sure that in Melbourne it will be the same for Ronda's fight. So yeah, there is something special during these MMA events, and I think if you are an MMA fan, of course you need to live one time in your life a big event like this. So me, I won't have the chance to be in Australia to see Ronda's fight this time, but yeah, of course I would love to go there.
Well, you're in Canada now, right?
Yes, now I moved from France to Montreal, so for me it's much easier, to do all my reports, interviews, and to plan like Skype interviews like now with you, because we have our time difference is much less, and now I can improve my English too. So for me, it's very good to be here.
Well, I was going to say, hopefully soon she'll have a fight in the U.S. again, and that's not that far from where you are now.
Yeah, of course.
Plus, Montreal is a great city. Oh my gosh, I love it there.
Yeah, you've been sometimes here, I think, no?
Yeah, we were just there a couple of years ago. I went on a train trip through Canada. My mother wanted to do that. I told my mom, is there anything on your bucket list, anything you wanted to do? Do you want to go on a cruise to the Caribbean? Do you want to go to Europe? And whatever it is. And my mother said, I'd like to go on a train trip across Canada. And I was like, okay. I didn't see that coming, but sure, why not? And so we did. We got sleeper cars, and we stayed in Montreal and in Quebec City and in Halifax, and it was really, really fun.
Nice.
And the food in Quebec is amazing. It's not as good as France, but it's a close second. I mean, the food's really good.
So I think right now everybody watched this amazing video, this promotional video for the UFC 193. We can see you in this video. So as far as I'm concerned, I was like almost, so emotional watching this video.
Isn't it cute? It had my little daughter Julia in it too. I just thought that was adorable.
Your daughter. Yeah, of course. A lot of people recognize her. So she plays the role of Ronda when she was younger, when she was doing judo, and then started to do MMA. So can you tell us about the shooting, how it was, what decided to do that, and if you had some inputs, ideas for shooting the video and stuff? Do you have some anecdotes to tell us?
I don't know how many of those I would say publicly. There were some disputes about it. Let me just say this. But no, the video itself, I thought it came out really well. And they just asked me to come in and say, well, what would you do? Like when Ronda got in the fight at school, and go to the principal's office. And I just basically went through what I told that principal. Or,
okay.
Yeah, but there are some interesting things in putting it all together. Because there are some people I cannot, let me just say this, there's some people I cannot stand that I said I was not going to show up if they were there. And you can watch the video and guess who they might have been.
Okay.
That'll be a test for anybody who watches your podcast.
All right, then. Yeah, so you...
I do have an anecdote for you. Do you know that the guy she was throwing in the cage, did you know there's a part where Ronda was throwing somebody?
Justin Flores?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know that Justin and her have known each other since they were born?
I know that his dad is what's the name?
Her
the godfather of Ronda. And just for your information, I had Justin for a Skype video interview 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
And we had like a 25 minutes talk, and it was very interesting. And I didn't yet publish the video because I have a lot of work to do, with the subtitles and stuff. But yeah, it was very interesting to talk with him. So sorry, yeah, it was just for.
Did he tell you he used to babysit Ronda?
No, no.
Oh, he did? He
Not
was the
exactly.
world's worst babysitter. I can't believe I used to let him babysit her. Because his parents and I were friends, right? So we would go out, and I wasn't married again yet. And so I would go out with his dad, Jake, who was also his judo coach, and he used to help coach Ronda. And Jake and his ex, Justin's mom and dad, and I would go out, and we would leave Justin, who was probably, I don't know, 13, 14 years old, to babysit Rhonda, who was 9 or 10. And I would come back, and oh my gosh, his mother got so mad one time we were there because we'd been out to dinner, and they let her watch Friday the 13th, like these horror movies. And she was like 9, so this is long before she started judo. And Lisa is yelling at them, Justin's mom, but I can't believe you let her watch this. And Justin and his older brother, Jacob, are saying, but it's educational, Mom. It shows people getting slashed up. Oh my God. He thought he was a great babysitter. Rhonda thought he was a great babysitter because he would let her do anything, watch these horror movies on TV and stay up till 1 in the morning and eat popcorn, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, so yeah, they were really close. That's what he was telling me last time. And yeah, they did a lot of judo together. He told me a good anecdote when they were in Spain, for like a summer camp in judo in Spain. And an anecdote, he said to me that Ronda maybe was the first person she punched in the face, because in a moment she was mad at him, and he said, okay, look, Ronda, okay, I feel that you are angry, so if you want right now, I allow you to punch me in the face. So if you want to do it right now. And she says, okay, boom. she punched him in the face, and then after they laugh, and so no, it was funny.
I know, she's punched her sisters lots of times.
Okay.
But usually when she was littler, she lost because they were bigger than her,
Yeah. In the video we see that so Julia was breaking, the arm of the teddy bear. Is it true that Ronda did that, with her teddy bears?
Well, it wasn't a teddy bear, it was a Hulk Hogan
Okay.
doll. But yeah, she did it so many times that she did actually rip the arm off, and I had to sew it back on.
Yeah, it's so cute. And what about Julia's feeling? Was she proud or excited to play the role of her sister?
She was really excited about it because, again, there was a big to-do because she had to take a day off of school, and I'm a very big believer in, school comes first, and so I said she could do it, and we went back and forth with the production people, and so finally I said I would leave it up to Julie, and I called her up and said, look, you would have to miss a day of school, you'd have to get all your schoolwork in advance, you'd have to have it all made up by Monday, and she said, skip calculus and world history to come and do a photo shoot? Sure!
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, Julie is very, very involved in soccer. She plays soccer, and so if it had been on a day she had a soccer tournament, I'm sure she would have said no. But it just so happened, I think it had poured down rain the day before, and soccer practice was canceled. She had extra time to do her homework, so she was all in.
All right. Yeah. No. So again, it was a really, really nice video. Maybe one of the best UFC promo video that was ever made. So wow, just wow. All right. So how difficult will be this fight against Holly Holm? Do you think?
Well, you never know. I mean, people often write off Ronda's opponents before she fights them, but I always tell her no one's easy till after you beat them. So I think if Ronda does it right, if she throws her, she could close up the distance, throw her armbar, it could all be done. If she listens to that idiot Edmund and tries to stand up and punch with her, then maybe it won't be done as fast. So we'll see.
I was because I was looking for questions for this interview all day. I was at work, and I was all day brainstorming, finding some questions, and I was wondering, are you prepared to say to Ronda, if Ronda loses for this fight or another fight, are you prepared for that, and do you know what to tell her? If she loses.
I think there's never a right thing to say to somebody when they lose if they're really an elite athlete. I mean, I've been in that position, and there's nothing you can say to make it better. It's like when somebody dies, I'm at that age when I have a lot of friends whose parents are starting to pass away, and sometimes people's kids pass. There's nothing you can say. I mean, there's a story about a little girl whose friend broke her doll, and she sat and cried. She was late coming home from kindergarten, and her mom said, "Where have you been?" And she said, "Mary Alice broke her doll," and she was really sad, and she sat there and cried. And her mother said, "Well, why were you late? Were you helping her?" And the little girl said, "I'm only 5 years old. I couldn't help her." And the mom said, "Well, what did you do?" And she said, "Well, I sat and cried with her." So I think for Ronda, if she lost, it would be a tragedy on the scale of if somebody died. And you can't really understand that maybe unless you have been an elite athlete that level yourself, that this is the most important thing in the world to you, and it doesn't happen. And I think in that situation, all I could do is sit and cry with her, because I think it would break her heart.
Yeah, of course. And she went through that uh, for the Olympics and for maybe other tournaments and
Yeah.
competitions. So yeah, I imagine that it will be horrible for her to lose. We hope that it won't happen, but yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's very hard to find words, and it's very difficult. Yeah, of course.
Well, I tell kids all the time, anybody can win on any given day. That's why they don't give out medals in the Olympics in advance. So you train the hardest you can, and you go in and you do the best you can.
Yeah.
And in Ronda's case, I think it will be enough. I have absolute faith it will be enough. But who knows? The last person could have sweated all over the octagon. You trip going in and fall down and break your nose. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. So this year, Ronda won two SP awards.
Yes.
It's amazing, and so best female athlete of the year and best fighter of the year. So it's amazing. And she said at the end that you are hard to impress. So it's very interesting what she said. And so, were you impressed, or
Here's the thing. I think when you're impressed, sometimes it's because you're surprised. I always thought all of my children were amazing and they would do amazing things. And so when they do amazing things, I'm not surprised because
Okay.
I knew they had it in them.
All right. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because now Ronda is becoming more and more a role model for a lot of people all around the world. It's crazy. So she had this book. She's doing movies. She will become maybe the Miss Marvel. She's on all the stages on TV. Jimmy Fallon. She was yesterday at Sports Center. Ellen DeGeneres. She even Beyonce put a video during one of her concerts about the speech of Ronda regarding the Do Nothing Beach. So it's crazy. And what's your vision? What do you feel? That your daughter, one of your daughter, is such a role model for a lot of people today.
I don't think about it that much. Rhonda and I were talking about this exactly today, maybe a couple hours ago, and I said, your family is the people who loved you before all this happened,
Yeah.
and if it all falls apart tomorrow, we'll love you just as much. So, it's funny, like when she comes over to the house and my little grandchildren jump on her and that, she's just Aunt Rhonda.
Yeah. We feel and we see, and that's what I like personally, that your family or everybody is very close in your family. And yeah, I like the fact that we see you, that you are very close. And I was reading a lot of things about what you said about that maybe you could be afraid of what happened, like all the maybe bad influences that Ronda could have, or bad things that could happen. So yeah, of course, I imagine that you are still worried about all this business and all the things around your daughter, right?
Well, yeah, I worry about all of them. I mean, the older ones I don't worry about as much as the younger ones, but yeah, Hollywood, I think, and professional athletics, it's kind of a shark tank. All of those people, a friend of mine, in fact, you might know his daughter, Victoria Anthony, was on the World Wrestling team. She wrestled at Simon Fraser University for 4 years, and then but she's from the U.S. She was on the Women's World Wrestling team. And our daughters were the same judo club. And at one point, her father turns to me. The girls were maybe, I don't know, maybe 13 and 15 years old. And he says, our children are a commodity to these coaches. If something happens, they get injured, they get pregnant, whatever, they will find another athlete and put on that team to replace them. But these are the only children we will ever have. And so, yeah, I mean, I worry about them. I think Ronda has a good head on her shoulders. I think she is much smarter than a lot of people give her credit for, and she realizes that, if you're in Hollywood, people can act, right? So they can act like they like you and are on your side.
Yeah.
But she's a lot smarter than people give her credit for. And the same thing with MMA. I mean, there's a lot of people around who are a new best friend, and she's like family to me. And, my husband says, gee, when she was in school and we had to pay the tuition bills, or when she first got her license and we had to pay for her car insurance, I don't remember these people who were like family being around.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and have you already identified some people in her surrounding that could be not really good people for her?
Oh yeah, I can't stand that coach of hers. I would shoot him if there wasn't a law against it. Yeah, and he knows it too. I think that there are, yeah. Those people that just show up after you're doing well. And I think every athlete, every person who's successful as a musician or a business person, anybody who has a high level of success in life, all of a sudden there's this whole group of people around them that are friends, and we're just like family. And I think that happens to everybody. And you just need to have the good sense to detect that. And sometimes it's hard because everybody wants to believe that every single decision they make is right and they're amazing. They never are wrong. And the more successful you are, the more people there are around to tell you that that's true. But it's not.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ronda's a lot smarter than people give her credit for.
All right. And is Ronda protective with her little daughter Julia? Sister,
Her little
sorry.
sister?
Sister, sorry.
Yes.
I heard the story with the Justin Bieber thing, but...
Yeah, Ronda will hate him forever now because he was mean to her little sister. And, Justin Flores is the same way. Julia's gotten to do a lot of things that people her age don't get to do because, she's been to a lot of these fights, and she's been to the Cannes Film Festival, and she's been to Rio. But she's also very protected and guarded, I would say. We were in Las Vegas one time after one of Ronda's fights, and Julia was there, and one of her friends was there who's about her age, and, we're all talking. Then we kind of look over out of the corner of our eye, and we see some guy who's probably in his 20s talking to Julia and her friend, and I think they were maybe 14 or 15. And Justin Flores has a brother who was also on the U.S. judo team, so even bigger than him.
Yeah.
And so I look over there, and then the next thing you know, Justin goes over there, and Jacob Flores goes over there, and Manny Gamburian goes over there, and they surround this guy. They say, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I was just talking to him." And they say, "Now you're not." So yes, Julia is very well cared for by a lot of people, and she's a really good person. She's a really good kid.
Yeah. All right. And one question about Ronda's training and game plan strategies. Are you involved sometimes? Do you give her some advices, regarding some things to do or not during a fight, or now that's the part of the coach and?
Well, I give her my opinion, and she can take it or not. And here's the thing: Ronda's an adult, and I really don't think that any coach makes that much difference at this point. She's been doing judo since she was 11, and she's 28 years old. So for 17 years, she's been competing in a combat sport. She made her first world team at 16. So for 12 years, she's been competing at an international level, and she's a very intelligent person. So I think she knows what to do. Every now and then, I will go and watch her. She does jiu-jitsu at the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy down in Torrance, and I'll pop in and see what she's doing, and I might make a comment on it one way or the other. I think Henner Gracie and his brother Huron are really, really brilliant, and they do a lot of wise things. They will have her get in really bad positions and fight her way out of them. So that happens for the first time in a match. She's ready for it. So, I'll watch what she's doing and I might comment on it, but, and I might just say that, like I just did, that's a really good idea what you're doing. But by and large, she's intelligent. She knows what she's doing. I think there's a lot of people that like to run out and take credit for things that the credit is due to Ronda herself.
All right. Do you want to see this fight against Chris Cyborg, or you don't care?
I don't care. Chris Cyborg's nobody to me. Let her mother worry about her.
Okay. So yeah, if Ronda win this fight against Holly Holm, for you, okay, if she wants to stop her MMA career, for you it will be enough, and you'll be happy for her.
It's really funny you said it, because that's another thing we were talking about just today. And I said, everybody has to decide when they're ready for themselves. And like for me, I won the world championships, and then I stopped. There were things I wanted to do. I wanted to marry Ronda's dad, the guy who became Ronda's dad. I wanted to go back to school and get a doctorate. I wanted to start a company. I wanted to do all these things. And my judo coach said that no one can decide for you. If you win the Olympics, people will still say, well, yeah, you won the Olympics, but could you do it twice? So you just decide for yourself when you're ready. And often people know they're ready to go, but they overstay because they need the money or they need that attention. So I think whenever she decides that this is my time, I'm done, then she should go, whenever that is. No one can say but you.
Okay. So yeah, of course, everybody will watch this fight, and of course you'll be in Australia to support Ronda, right?
Yeah. Actually, as far as you think about, when you're ready to quit fighting, actually, Ronda's really smart about a lot of stuff, and she started investing in companies. Like she invested in our company, 7 Generation Games, and she's actually working with us to try and build up the company. So when she quits competing, she may have a lot of business investments that she's got going on. So, yeah, like I said, she's a lot smarter than people give her credit for.
That's nice. Yeah, let's talk about 7th Generation Games. So your Kickstarter campaign this year went really well. For the information, I was one of the baker. I received my parents, because the card went to my parents' house in Paris. So it was handwritten. So it was really nice, and I was really glad, and I think I received maybe a poster too or something like this.
All right.
So yeah, are you satisfied with all about your?
Oh, well, it's been fantastic. So not only did we do the Kickstarter campaign, but there's only 11 accelerators in the world for educational technology, and we were accepted to one of them. So we're in our 9th week there, and we did our first seed round of fundraising. So we raised $200,000 in 10 days.
Nice.
And then we're still doing another round of fundraising. And so the company's doing really well. We have 2 more games coming out, and one of them is bilingual. Sorry, it's not French and English, but maybe if we have people who are French that want to help us translate it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a game coming out that's in Spanish and English next year, and it would be awesome to do one in French and English.
Why not?
And yeah, Rhonda's here. I'm gonna turn the light on here because it's getting dark. It's late here.
Yeah.
So Ronda has been involved as being what we call an alpha tester. So beta testers are the people when you first come out with the game, and you have a few hundred people or a few thousand people testing it. But as we do the games, we have like levels of difficulty that are easy, medium, and hard. And sometimes the hard level is really, really hard. Nobody can pass it. So we'll have Ronda come over and play it because she's really big into games, and that's one of the reasons she invested in our company. So if she can pass it, we figure, okay, well, at least it's possible then. So no one can tell us, well, your hard level's impossible. So the game part of it is really fun, and the educational part of it, the games are supposed to teach math and English and history, and so the first year we did it, the kids who played the games improved 3 times as much as the kids who didn't, right? In another school just in the same community. We thought, well, maybe that was luck, and I know if we were like a big company that's only about making as much money as possible, we'd run with that. But I said, well, let's do it again. Yeah. So we did it a second year, and we did it with more schools. And again, the kids that played the games, their math scores improved 30%. So So yeah, it's been really, really fun to do. The games are really, really fun. I don't know if you played them.
Not already, but yeah, of
Sure.
course I will try. But
They're
you
really fun. You get,
and I
to like
use
canoe down rapids and shoot things and explore virtual worlds, and you learn math and you learn history.
that's good for me because I'm not good at all at math. So
Well, I'll tell you the story about our new game that we're doing because it's really fun.
okay.
So it's called Aztec Games, and it's the one in Spanish and English. So
Mhm.
the idea came from this. I met this teacher, and she said, and I know this happens to French-speaking children in Canada. I know it does because I used to live in Canada.
Mhm.
So his teachers tell me she lives in a small town in the United States, and every now and then they will get a child that only speaks Spanish in her school, in her little town. And she said, I don't have anything to teach them with. I don't speak Spanish, and they just sit there in the class and kind of watch what's going on. And she said, I know I'm not doing right by these children, but what do? I don't speak Spanish. I have no special materials in Spanish and English. What do I do? So we made this game called Aztec, and now in the game on every page, there's a button that says Espanol. You can click that button, and it changes everything from English to Spanish. And then the button says English, and you can click it back, and it can change it to English. So if you don't understand, you can be doing the same lesson in math and history. It's the same, all the other kids in your class, and at any point, you can ask for a hint in English, you can ask for a hint in Spanish, and so for every kid, if you're not very good in math and you need help, you can click on that button that says, give me a hint. And you're just sitting there like this with your headphones on your computer, so nobody needs to know that you needed 3 hints to get that problem, or you needed somebody to explain it to you before you got it.
All right, that's a
And
good
so
initiative.
and so the story, and it's a game, right? So the story is this. You're a kid, you've got a couple of kids, and they're in their classroom with their teacher, and the teacher tells them, and this is true, that the Mayans, the indigenous people in Central America, that most of their history was burned. At one point, they had these codices, these written documents, and they all got burned up. And the teacher's telling them this, and he says, because history is powerful, that's why people want to destroy it. And he says, books are powerful, words are powerful. And then he says, don't touch this book, because it's especially powerful. When I got called to the principal's office, don't touch this book. So, of course, what do? Weren't you ever a child? What would you do if your teacher told you, don't touch that, and left the room?
I think I will do, no? I don't know.
Of course, right? So they go up to the book, and as soon as they get the little Mayan guy reaches in and grabs them and pulls them, and they end up flying back in time. They land in the year 800 in the Mayan civilization, and that's where the game starts.
All right,
So,
nice.
that's what I do. That's what I do for a real grown-up job. Isn't that crazy?
No, yeah, that's good. We need all these good initiatives. It's good for children. It's good for everybody, and yeah, we can see that you are very successful with it, and it was very nice. So yeah, everybody, if you want to support Seventh Generation Games, you can.
You should. We're awesome. And you'll learn stuff and be smarter.
Yeah. It was a real pleasure to have you for this interview, AnnMaria. Thank you very much again.
You're very welcome.
And maybe last question. Do you think I will be the first French people to do an interview with Ronda? the first French media.
Really? She's never done any with the French media?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I think maybe I should be because I'm the only one, so maybe.
There you go. You could be first on what?
Yeah, no. Yeah, MMA in France is more and more popular, and
Yeah.
I started doing interviews, reports, and stuff 4 years ago, and yeah, I keep doing everything, and people are happy for me to bring content for all the MMA French community. So
what brought you to Montreal?
right now I'm living at the Plateau, which is not very far from the center, from Sainte Catherine Street,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good place where I live right now, and I have like a big garden, and it's
Nice.
we really enjoy our way of life right now. But the thing is that this morning it was like in Celsius degrees, it was only 3, so it was really cold,
Oh,
But
I hate cold weather.
yeah, in Santa Monica, that's
It's
amazing.
very nice.
Yeah. No,
Well,
really.
see, that's it. Hopefully, maybe Ronda will have a fight in February or something in Las Vegas and get
Yeah.
out of Montreal, because that would be a really good time to get out of Montreal.
Oh yeah. And when you come by this place, of course we will have a little time maybe to see you and I don't know have a drink or something with everybody.
I would only come to Montreal in the summer.
Yeah, summer
But
would
yes,
be
I have
better.
cousins up there, so it'd be good to come and visit again.
And maybe in a dojo, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, AnnMaria, for everything and all the best for your company, for all your projects, and of course a lot of good vibes for Ronda's fight.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take
Hey,
care.
bye-bye.